Hello and welcome to Every Dad DIY. I'm Gavin. Today we're going to be making this. For those that don't know, a test bed or a test bench is just an open air PC that you can put parts in and out of very easily. It's much easier than using an actual case because you can get to the parts and swap them out very quickly. So that's what we're going to be making. So as you can see, it's a very simple test bed. It's just made from an old XP desktop. It's just going to help with testing the parts coming in for our new series with Drone Tech Media. So stick with me and let's get started. Okay, so I'm down in Tom's house from Drone Tech Media. He's got an old computer down there that I was taking apart. I normally start with the power supply because it's connected into everything. The next thing I take out is normally the CD drives, DVD drives, hard drives, anything like that. After that then it's down to the motherboard and the CPU and all that. That all comes out in one piece. Then I'm just going to remove the fans. And then going to take the front off and remove any switches that are attached. I just need to drill out all the rivets then to take the case apart. We don't want all of the case, so we're just going to take off the bits we need. Once we have all the rivets taken out, the case will just pull apart. We can then put all the parts that we do need back together. So I'm just drilling out the holes here so that I can put fresh rivets into them. So the bit I'm adding back in here is for the graphics card and the power supply. All the rest of it is not needed. Okay, so as you can see from the big pile of parts in front of me, we've been busy. So we've taken out all the old components, the motherboard, hard drives, power supplies, everything. We've completely gutted it. We've then drilled out all the rivets and taken the case apart. We've then added this piece back in here. So the way it's going to work is our motherboard will sit down here. We'll have all our I/O ports and all out the back. We'll then be able to put our graphics card just here. We'll also be able to put in our hard drives and stuff like that. So the way we have it set up, it's going to be easy to swap in and out components. So if we have to swap in and out motherboards or anything like that, it's not going to be a hassle. We also won't have to worry about cooling or anything like that because the case is open. So that's pretty much as far as it's going to get. It's going to need to clean up and then it'll be ready for testing some parts. I'm at home now to finish it off. So what I want to do is add 4 legs to it. One leg is going to be a bit longer because it has to support the side as well. So I'm just making room for that leg to go up through the case. I just tidy up the edges then with a file so they're not sharp anymore. I'm just cutting out the 3 extra legs now, so I've got 3 short legs and 1 long leg. I then need to mark out where the legs are actually going. To attach the legs, I'm just going to use ordinary wood screws. But I'm going to put some large washers on the top just to hopefully stop them from pulling through. There's a raised section where the motherboard is as well. I had to drill that out a little bit to be able to get my screws in. It was also a bit of a nightmare trying to get the washers down there. I also put an L bracket on the long leg just to hold it up in the corners. The next job I had to do was put a hole in the case for all the wires to go down through. I first tried to do it with my hole saws, which turns out they're not very sharp at all, so I ended up using the Dremel. It actually took forever with the Dremel as well, so I'm not sure it was any sharper than my hole saw, but I did get through it in the end. It was the main thing. Once I got through it, then I used a homemade drum sander just to clean off all the edges. I may do a video on how to make them. I also decided to remove the hard drive cage from the top and relocate it onto the bottom. It just was taking up too much space on the top and it just looks better down underneath. So I just used some rivets to do that. Now that I have it pretty much all done, I'm just going to go over it with some wire wool to clean it off and give it a bit of a sand. I then took it outside and just gave it a wash to remove any of the dust and dirt before we go to paint it. So as part of the paint prep, I'm just going to cover up the wooden legs. I don't want to paint those because I think they look nice the way they are. I'm just using some old paper here and some masking tape. Now that I have it all covered, I'm just going to give it a nice coat of primer to give the paint something to stick to. I then go over it with a nice matte black. It gets 2 coats of the matte black. These are just standard aerosol cans that you get from a motor factors. They're used for spraying cars and stuff like that. As a last minute addition, I decided to put on the power switch and the LEDs from the old case. So I just had to drill out 3 holes and put them in there. I just used some hot glue from the back then to hold them in there. When we put a motherboard in, then we can just connect it and we'll have all those working too. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our video. As you can see, our test bed is all together and working. It's really going to come in handy now when the parts start coming in for our upcoming videos, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, so thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. See you in the next one.